Hello and welcome to BFS Wargaming. So we are going to have a look at the balanced data slate. It's just a quick stream. Going to go in and have a look. So starting off, we have modifying. So these are the core rule changes. So modifying a CP cost. There's things in here like if you can check, a captain's ability, you can change it to 0 CP. Now instead of changing to 0, you're changing to you're just taking 1 off it. So if it was 1 CP, it goes down to 0 CP. If it was 2 CP, it goes to 1 CP. But you can do it on anything, not just rights of battle anymore. And the same with any of the like vect stratagems where you could make something cost 1 more CP. Now it's a 12-inch aura, and it increases the cost of that stratagem when you use it. So if you before it was like every time you used it afterwards it would cost 1 extra CP. Now it's just it costs 1 CP when you use it that time, and you can use that as many times as you want if someone's using strats within 12 of you. Basically, they're saying that you can't use the same stratagem twice unless it specifically says. So, for instance, like the Hexmark Destroyer specifically says Fire Overwatch stratagem, you can then use that twice. Now, stratagems like the Canaptech Court one where you can not shoot anything outside of nothing outside of 12 of your like Wraith unit or whatever. If you use a stratagem, can't shoot. It's now 18. So all of them stratagems are now 18 inches, which I think is a great change. Crazy. Does that count for Carava's Aquila? What's Carava's Aquila? This is all. Is Carava's Aquila like reduce something to 0 CP, or is it the one where you vect something to make it cost an extra CP? Either way, all of the abilities that do either change. So that changes to that, that changes to that. If it's an ability where it specifically says a certain stratagem, then you can use that more than twice. If not, you can't. Stratagem to add new units to your army. You can only now get use the reinforcement stratagem, like the Imperial Guard have got the 2 CP stratagem. You can only now use this once per battle instead of using it once per turn, with Leonidas giving you 2. Enhancement of the Guard that increases the cost. Yeah, so that enhancement that can increase the cost is now a 12-inch aura, and it will increase the cost when they use it, and you can use that as many times as you want. So you can only use this stratagem once per battle now, the reinforcements for the guard. So it is quite a big hit to the guard, but they have had some boosts in other places. They've had points. I'm not going to go through all of the points, but guard have had some key points drops with like out of line of sight shooting and Kassakin and stuff like that. Adeptus Sororitas have had no things because obviously they've just had a codex, but they have got their new points out now. The points are, I'm quite glad, quite high, because I thought they were going to be super broken. But with the points that I've seen, I'm like, okay, we'll have to wait and see. I think they've done the right thing in the points that they've put out. Now, Adeptus Custodes. A couple of changes here. I'm not sure how big these changes will be for the Custodes, but they're good changes. Also in the points, they've had some drops on some of the Forge Well stuff, like Aquilan stuff and that sort of thing. Some of the Dreadnoughts. So now, instead of once per battle for the Shield Host attachment, each battle round, at the beginning of the battle round, you can either choose to have critical hits on 5s, or you can choose to get an extra AP. Okay, so that's army-wide. You can choose that at the beginning of every battle round. You can choose which one you want. So you're going to get that every battle round, which is a huge change rather than just having it once per battle. In my mind, it's increasing the killiness, which I'm not sure we needed the killiness increased. I feel like Custodes need a little bit more durability, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it will sort things out. And then with the Auric Champions attachment, it's now a character unit, not a character model. Okay. It's basically if your character is attached to a unit, then you're going to get the +1 to wound roll. Okay, so that's really, really nice. you still have to choose. Yeah, you're still selecting one enemy unit, so it's like +1 to wound against 1 unit for character units. It's all right. It's okay. Okay, AdMech. AdMech's probably had the biggest changes, and then NIDS. So AdMech's points have gone up. So that is one thing. It's not that they've just got loads of rules and haven't had any point increases. They have had point increases, but I think the rules are pretty strong from what I've roughly looked through. So ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit have the heavy ability, which is the protector imperative. Yeah. So improved ballistic skill characteristics of ranged weapons equipped by models units by 1. So you're now hitting on 3s instead of 4s, which is super strong. And it's the actual ballistic skill characteristics, so you can get pluses to hit, stuff like that. So it's really strong. Each time a melee attack targets this unit, if this unit has the battle line keyword and or is within 6 inches of any Adeptus battle line unit, subtract from the hit roll. So you're then making them worse to hit if they're within 6 inches of you. So yeah, or if they're within 6 inches or they target a battle line unit. Then the Conquer Imperative, ranged weapons equipped by the small unit have the Assault ability. On top of that, which they already had. On top of that, they're going to improve the weapon skill characteristics of melee weapons by 1, which is very nice. And if you're within 6 inches of a battle line or you attack a battle line, no, if his unit is battle line keyword or is within 6 inches of a friendly Adeptus battle line, you get an extra AP on your armor penetration. Super strong. So basically, you've got a really good shooting imperative and you've got a really good melee imperative. Really nice. That's great. Then we have the Doctrine Imperative, add faction Doctrine Imperatives abilities to Belisarius Call, Electro Priest, Fulbright, Electro Priest, Tech Priest Dominus, Tech Priest Engineer, Tech Priest Manipulus, Techno Archaeologist, loads of things. Belisarius Call's move's gone up to 8 inches. He's now got the battle line keyword. Great. I'm not sure. It seems strong. While a friendly Adeptus mechanics within 16 of this model, you get +1 to your leadership tests. Strong. Iron Strider Ballistari, ranged weapons. So basically, it tells you here all of the adjustments. So in the red is where it's been adjusted. So now you're getting 4 attacks with the autocannon, 2 attacks with the Cognis las cannon. The Scorpius Disintegrator is getting T6 +1 damage. The Sicarian Infiltrators are getting 3 attacks now instead of 2. They're getting Sicarian Ruststalkers are getting 5 attacks with Strength 5 on both their weapons. One's -2, one's -1. This seems strange because why wouldn't you just always choose this? Because it's got anti-infantry 3 plus Devastating Wounds Precision. This is Devastating Wounds Precision. Like this is always the better option. So why would you choose this? Oh, maybe only one can take that. Okay, don't listen to me. Oh, and then there's another one. Okay, I don't know. On a Dragoon Crawler, ranged weapons. So they've gone to 2d3. Maybe they were 1d3 before for the Eradication Beamer. 3 attacks for the Neuron Laser, which is d6 +2 now. Nice. And 12 attacks for the Phosphor Blaster. Nice. Good changes. I think they needed some datasheet changes, some weapon profile changes. So cool. I'm looking forward to seeing AdMech back on the table. Harley, who you would have seen on the channel, plays AdMech, has told me that they are now good. So Harley said it, so now they must be good. So moving on to Aeldari. Aeldari have had some points increases and some points decreases. So go and check them out in the Moonstorm Field Manual. I don't think anything's changed from here for Aeldari. Agents of the Imperium, I don't think anything's changed there. Okay, Astra Militarum. So this has changed. So the Voice of Command Army rule was in there before, but the Combined Regiment Detachment has changed. So the Born Soldiers Detachment rule, it's now, you'll get it if you move for lethal hits, but if you're a regiment unit, you'll get it against non-monsters and vehicles. And if you're a squadron, so the tanks, you'll get it against monster and vehicles. I think this is good. Alex Lee did point out to me that you know, the regiment units like the barrage guns, you know, the artillery guns, they're still not getting against monsters of vehicles, which is probably what they want to be shooting at. So maybe they've slipped through the gap there where it's regiment and they're just using the regiment squadron keywords, which is a shame. So maybe at a later date they'll maybe fix that. I hope for maybe they'll fix that in the codex. So Black Templars, I don't think this has changed. Blood Angels, that's stayed the same, +2 strength and +1 to the attacks characteristics, which is very nice. Okay, what else have we got? Chaos Knights. So the super heavy walker ability has changed, so it can move within engagement range now, but cannot end within engagement range with their movement. And they can also go move through terrain features that are more than 4 inches in height. But if it does, it has moved. After it has moved, roll 1d6 on a 1. That model is battle shocked. So they can now move through terrain. Wow. That's strong. That's strong. They're trying to get people to play the big guys instead of always playing the armagers. Warp Strike. So this ability is now a destroyed one or more enemy units and they can go back up into strategic reserves. Before it was a model and then I think they could use a strat to get out of combat and come back up. Now they have to actually kill the whole unit, so it makes them slightly worse, I believe. That is, I'm not wrong in saying that. I'm sure Ollie Pickett will tell me if I am wrong. Okay, Chaos Demons. I love what they've done here. So now, if you're a Chaos Demon, if you've got a Greater Demon, so for instance, I play Pure Sinesh. If I'm taking a Keeper of Secrets or Shalaxi, then they give the 6-inch bubble of the Shadow of the Warp. So I can bring them in and then I can bring stuff in and then do like the 6 or 5-inch charge if you've got an icon into stuff. So super, like really cool. It means you don't have to run Be'lakor basically, which is nice, you know. So yeah, really like that. There's been some points changes. I know Demonettes went down, Fiends went down, so there's been some points changes for them as well. Data sheets, yeah. So this is all the things changing that. So yeah, I think that is the big change, which is really cool. Dark Angels, Unforgiven Task Force attachment. So in your command phase, select one deputy from your unit. Add 1 to the objective control characteristic of the model in that unit. This is the Grim Resolve. Is this not what it was before? In your command phase, select 1 Adeptus Astartes from your unit from your army. Until the start of your next command phase, add 1 to the objective control. That's the whole detachment rule, is you can make 1 unit add 1 to the objective control characteristic. Or is it as an additional paragraph? So there's something else Grim Resolve does as well. Hopefully. I'm hoping. Inner Circle Task Force detachment. Vowed. At the start of your movement phase, select one of the following. Defensive footing. Select 1 objective marker you control until the end of your next movement phase. That objective marker is your vowed objective marker. Okay. Select 1 or more objective markers you do not control until the start of your next movement phase. Each of those objective marker is one of your vowed objective markers. If a rule refers to a unit or model being within range of a vowed objective marker, that rule takes effect if that unit or model is within range of 1 or more vowed objective markers. Okay. I don't actually know what Dark Angels do, so I'm assuming this is making them better. Each time a Death Wing infantry unit from your mate's attack unit within range of 1 or more vowed objective markers, add 1 to the wound roll. That's very strong. Okay. Deathwing Knights melee weapons have now got anti-monster 4+, anti-vehicle 4+, with the Mace of Absolution, AP 2, very nice. The power weapons are now AP, are now 2 damage. Okay. Okay. I like it. They're getting better. Oh, Inner Circle Companions. This is the new model that looked really bad. Their great swords are now either 4 attacks with lethal hits. So they've got a strike or a sweep, 4 attacks with lethal hits, strength 6 -2, 2 damage, or you can sweep with sustained hits 2, 5 attacks at strength 6 -2, 1 damage. Nice. I like it. Much more usable. Death Guard. Once per battle round, you can target one of your army with this ability for grenade stratagem for CP. I think this has stayed the same. There's been a couple of points changes to Death Guard, but nothing massive. Death Watch. Death Watch. This is all the same for Death Watch. Death Watch got a couple of points decreases, but I feel like Death Watch got dicked again. I'm feeling for them. So Death Watch players, let me know how you feel about that. Drukhari stayed the same for their art for the data slate as they were in the last one. I will say though, Scourge went up 10 points and Grotesques and Ravagers went down. Not sure if they needed to change. I mean, I think the Scourge probably went up because of Inari, if anything, which is a shame for Drukhari players. Genes to the Cult, new points are out, so go and have a look at them because their codex has just come out. So if you want the up-to-date points of them, they're now in the Mutant Field Manual. Grey Knights. Grey Knights. This was all here in the last data slate for Grey Knights. What I will say is Grey Knights have been hit. The Redeemer's been hit quite heavily, 285 points now. Grandmaster and Nemesis Dread Knight, Castle and Crow, and the normal Nemesis Dread Knight all went up in points. So they were doing very, very well. So, and I think maybe Strike Squads as well. Imperial Knights. This was the same. Super heavy walker ability, so same as Chaos Knights. That is gone up again. That is the same as Chaos Knights. So for the big knights, you're doing a lot more, moving through buildings and whatnot. Noble Lance Detachment. Okay, the stratagems have changed, but I think that was there before. Leagues of Votan. This was all there before. What I do think that Leagues of Votan should get is, instead of getting +1 to hit, they should get +1 to ballistic skill, and then they should be able to get +1 to hit. Just saying. Just saying for the Codex, GW. Necrons. So the Cosmic Precision stratagem has gone, so you can't use it on monsters. So I think it's just Catan you can't use that on. I can't think of any other monsters, maybe one of the Forge World things, but yeah, so you can't use it on Catan anymore. Also, Wraiths went up, so for 6, they've gone up 30 points for a unit of 6, and Doomstalkers went up by 10 points to 145, which I think are absolutely fine. Canaptech Court was overperforming a little bit. I think it's great. They didn't hit them like, I think Necrons are in a fine place. They're not super strong. They're good. I'm very happy with the changes. Orcs. Now, Orcs have been hit in a few different ways. If you see in the Cold or Horde, one of the new secondaries, people were saying, oh, you can take 19, just take one less guy, but they've actually put in there now, if you've paid for 20, it counts as 20. So Cold or Horde works against it. So Green Tide got a bit of a nerf there. They've also taken a nerf that if they're under 10, they will only have a 6-up invuln instead of a 5-up invuln. So they won't be getting reroll 1s, and they won't be getting a 5-up invuln. They'll just be getting a 6-up invuln. So bit of a nerf there. I know there is an enhancement to counters over 10, so maybe you could use that on one unit. Also, I know that Pain Boys have gone up in points, and so have Mega Knobs as well, and Weird Boys. So this Tide of Muscle stratagem, I don't know, I haven't seen this, but it's add 1 to the charge roll. If your unit contains Cinema, you can re-roll the charge roll on top of that, which is nice. I'm not sure what it was before. And then Go Get 'em stratagem, you can re-roll the D6 to determine how far you can move. Is this when you move closer or something? After attacking, you get a shot. Yeah. You can then move. Mega Knobs. So during the battle round in which they call a war, models in this unit have a fill place 5-up Feel No Pain ability instead of a 4-up Feel No Pain. This is quite a substantial hit, but I do think Mega Knobs have the ability to get, with the 2-up save, they can also get like Armor of Contempt and cover, and then, so I don't think it's a bad change. I mean, they did put the points up as well, which I wasn't sure was necessary. I think maybe they should have made the change and then seen with the points, but they obviously know what they're doing. Iron Storm. This is pretty big. The auras have been taken away, and now you just put it on a unit, which is massive. So lethal hits aura and the fallback and shoot aura, or advance and shoot aura. So that's pretty big. Their enhancements have come down in points, but I think that will, and also a couple of the tanks, the Reaper and the Valiant, both got hit by points. Mercier's weakness has also gone up to 2 CP. Desolation squads can now be taken in units of 4. I don't know if that makes them good again. Oh, no. They can only be taken in... Oh, yeah, because you can't take them in units of 10. I think that's an old thing. Impulsors, you can now take 7. Yes! I can now take 6 Blade Guard and Korsuro Khan. It's like it was meant to be. Love that change. You can now take 14 in a repulsor. You can take Wolf and Centurions. Centurions take up 3. So you'd be able to take 3 Centurions would be 9. 4 Centurions. You could take 4 Centurions. I'm not sure if you can pay for 4, if you have to pay for 6. I don't know, or if the maximum 3s maybe. But yeah, that's cool. Space Wolves remained the same, although Wolfen and Thunderwolves have both gone up because obviously they were doing well. Tau Empire, no changes to Tau, although there has been a lot of points changes. They've had actually quite a few points decreases. The Hammerheads did go up though. Thousand Suns. Now, Thousand Suns, I've played Mark Pocock a couple of times and was on the losing end of both of them games. And some of the stuff you can do with these cabals is pretty outrageous, and I like to see that they've curbed it somewhat. So now excluding models that have already been selected for all this turn. So you can so change the last sentence of the paragraph. Each time you use a ritual, select 1000 Sun Cycle model from your army, excluding one models that have already been selected this turn. So you can't use this different. You can't use things on the same cycle. It's the Cabal of Sorcerers army rule, yeah. Twist of Fate is the where you take away someone's armor save. Now you're just adding 2 to the armor penetration characteristics, which I think is far better. It's much more civilized, so I like that. That way, you know, you're still getting things that are meant to be good at shooting are good at, it could become even better, and things that are bad at shooting become good. It's like, you know, it's nice. Doombolt, excluding Doombolt no longer works against lone operative. You can't get around lone operative. You have to be inside 12 to Doombolt someone with lone operative, which is quite good. Yeah, and obviously you can't now Doombolt twice from the same sorcerer, which is also good. Temporal Surge, this unit cannot be selected for this ritual more than once per phase, so you can't triple move someone, which is probably a good thing. Why that was a thing, I don't know. Exalted Sorcerer on Disc of Zinch, Binding Tendrils ability. In your shooting phase, after this shot, select one enemy unit, extreme monster vehicle hit by one or more of those arcane fire until the start of the next phase. Oh, yeah, you subtract 2 from the move and the charge. I think it was subtract 2 from move, advance and charge, maybe? Well, that is that now, anyway. Tyranids. So this is the last one. Tyranids army rule I always felt was a little bit weak. So let's see what they've done. So now you get the 3d6 instead of 2d6 if you're in synap range. That was the same as before, I believe. Each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the strength characteristic of that attack. That's really nice. That extra combat power, I think that's really, really good. Yeah, you do have to be within synapse, but it takes a little bit of thingy to do it. But I think I think Nids needed to be a little bit more killy. Shadow in the Warp army rule. You now each time a unit takes a battle shock test, if it is within 6 inches of synap units, it's subtract 1 from that test. So I'm assuming now if you've got the Neuro Tyrant and you're within synapse range or something, you're then -2 to the test. So then it becomes even better. So that's really nice, because that can really affect the game. If you're failing battle shock on multiple objectives and suddenly you lose, 5, 10, 12 points from your primary because you failed battle shocks, that's pretty naughty. Can easily lose you a game or win you a game if you need. Crusher Stampede, you now add +2 to the objective control characteristic in models in that unit, which is nice. Stratagem, it can move in engagement range of enemy models, but cannot end and move in engagement range of them. Okay, so this is like the super heavy walker, and it can move through. Yeah, so they've basically got the super heavy walker rule for this stratagem. Hive Tyrant onslaught ability now gains lethal hits as well as assault. Neurolytic adds synapse keyword. Neuro Tyrant leader section. Neuro Tyrant can now be added to Zoanthropes. Broodlord and Parasite of Mortex. They get the Shadow in the Warp ability. Faction Shadow in the Warp keyword because they didn't have it. Add the following data sheet, so they both get Synapse as well. Morlock, Raveners, Trigon, they all get Vanguard Invader keywords. Exocrine are now Strength 9 instead of Strength 8, which is a really nice upgrade, especially when you're playing against Eldar or Necrons. Rupture Cannons are now D6 plus 6. I thought they were damage. D6 plus 6 damage. I thought maybe they were D3 plus 6 damage. And they've got up to D6 plus 6 damage. Let me know. And then World Eaters have stayed the same. So that is the balanced data slate. I think overall some really good changes. I like what they've done. There's nothing in there where I think it's like terrible. I would have liked to have seen another little bit in here talking about, the out of line of sight shooting, just to say that they can't get any modifiers and they can't ignore cover. Just it has to be they have to be -1 to their ballistic skill, and they're not allowed to get better ballistic skill, and it has to be whoever they're shooting gets cover. I just feel like you shouldn't be able to buff out of line of sight, but that's just me. Just because I don't like it to be strong in the game. But yeah, I think it's good. Let me know what you guys think of it. I think that it's been a good balanced data slate. Points. I'm sure there's going to be people that felt they got hit quite hard. Chaos Space Marines did get hit badly in the points. I know Ollie's list went up 150 points, which is a big increase on a list. And obviously this Warp Talons thing may have got hit a little bit. So, yeah. I mean, Orcs got hit a little bit. Maybe it was a bit too much. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. But yeah, let us know what you think. Did your army get no love, or did it get a lot of hate, or did it get just the right amount of love? Let us know. Necron players, let us know what you think of the changes. I know the Canaptech Court players might not be super happy, but I do think it was the right change. And let's hope that we're going to go into this season with the Pariah Nexus, with all the new stuff, in a sort of a relatively good balance. I think the Sisters points are better than I thought they were going to be, so let's hope that they're relatively balanced too. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.